It's been a while, but cancelled storylines are back. Hello guys, one more time and welcome to Ring Royalty. My name is Alexis, as you already know, and here today the jean jacket is back on, and that means that the cancelled storyline series is going to continue. It's been a while, at least 6 months since I've recorded one of these videos, so let's remember the drill very quickly. First, I will mention 5 storylines that were cancelled. The first part is mention what was the storyline about, then the reason why it was cancelled if it is known, and finally I will be talking about my opinion what could have happened if this storyline was included in the show. So without anything left to say, let's start with the video. The first cancelled storyline for this video would be from this year, and it is Sasha Banks challenging Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania 38 for the SmackDown Women's Championship. I wished Sasha had this title match. I feel like she deserved a WrestleMania moment and she got it. However, one thing is winning a tag team match and a completely different one is to win a singles bout. I think Sasha solidifying herself as the SmackDown Women's Champion by defeating the Queen Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania would have felt like an awesome way to get her first victory and the grandest stage of them all. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. Low-key, I'm loving what she's doing with Naomi, but I mean, we all know Sasha Banks works a lot better as a singles competitor. The reason why this was cancelled was mentioned by me in my video of the WrestleMania review. You can check it out here if you haven't. Because Ronda Rousey decided to return at the Royal Rumble, obviously they gave her the main event title match spot at Mania, and Sasha was relegated to basically a tag team title match because there was nothing else to do for the boss. Sasha is such a big superstar, so she couldn't be ignored at the grandest stage of them all. However, this didn't feel like the important match we wanted her to be in, and it's all due to Ronda Rousey's return. Obviously, she needed a title match. In my opinion, especially after rewatching Ronda against Charlotte at WrestleMania, I think it could have been a lot better of a title match if Sasha Banks was included and maybe they made the match a triple threat. Not saying Ronda wouldn't be necessary at Mania because she brings the star power and the mainstream audience, but overall the match was not that good. And with the boss there, I think the quality would have improved wonders. Unfortunately, it never happened. Sasha is yet to win a singles match at WrestleMania. At least she broke the course with the tag team victory. But I am very curious about this one. Let me down below what do you think about this cancelled storyline. Do you think Sasha deserved the singles WrestleMania title match? Or is it okay that Ronda got it? You will tell me. Now for our second storyline, let's move to 2021. And that is Mia Yim's SmackDown run. Oh my god, Mia Yim on the main roster, such a waste of talent, such a waste of time, not only of us as viewers, but also as herself. She's so talented. She was put as Reckoning in the forgettable team Retribution. I'm sure if you remember them, I wouldn't blame you if you don't. However, when Retribution was over, Mia Yim was sent to SmackDown, but she never made her debut there. Rumor has it that it was supposed to happen on May 2021 in the throwback edition of SmackDown, and she would have a match against Carmella. Match that later would happen, but without Mia Yim. It ended up being Carmella against Ruby Riott. The popular rumor is that Mia Yim was supposed to start a rivalry with Carmella. They would have their first program, and that's how she would be introduced to the SmackDown brand as Mia Yim. Reckoning character was already done. Retribution didn't exist anymore, so Mia Yim would finally, the original Mia Yim, make her debut in the main roster. The reasons for this storyline being cancelled are not known, but it is a popular belief that the feud between Liv Morgan and Carmella from last year was supposed to be Mia Yim's first feud in the company. I guess we will never know, because soon after these rumors started that their debut was going to happen and it didn't, Mia Yim was released from WWE and we never saw her again in the company. Such a bittersweet ending for Mia Yim, don't you think? Moving from NXT, having a pretty decent run and some memorable matches, to the main roster, to a stable that was supposed to be probably one of the main storylines in the whole company, and then ended up flopping. The company didn't care about the stable anymore and they just disbanded. each member disappeared for a while, and none of them really had any luck on the main roster, either Raw or SmackDown. So it's such a sad way to see how Mia Yim's career developed from NXT to Raw and then supposedly SmackDown. But I guess it's not surprise. There are very few wrestlers that can actually top their NXT careers on the main roster. And unfortunately, Mia Yim wasn't one of them. I think it would have been so awesome to see Mia Yim against Carmella. It would have felt fresh. It would have felt like something we haven't seen before, not like a rerun every week. But well, it is what it is. Let's continue with our third storyline, and that would be back in 2018. Alexa Bliss as Raw General Manager. This one is very interesting if you ask me. This happened by the end of the year, around October or November. You remember like the Evolution's last Survivor Series era where Alexa Bliss was not able to compete. She was injured after her match with Ronda Rousey at a house show. She was pulled out from the Evolution card. She was supposedly facing Trish Stratus. She couldn't participate on the Raw team either at Survivor Series. She was still not clear. And back then, Baron Corbin was the general manager for some reason. I don't remember because I don't really watch men's wrestling, you know? And the plan for this thing was that Alexa Bliss would replace Baron Corbin as Raw General Manager. It would make a lot of sense because first of all, Alexa Bliss is a very popular superstar. Then, she is also a great talker. She has excellent mic skills. And lastly, back then, if you remember, Paige was the general manager of SmackDown. So it would feel so awesome to see two women leading the top brands of sports entertainment in WWE. If I'm not mistaken, that is something that never happened before. We had female general managers, but it was never two of them at the same time, especially battling. It was around the time of Survivor Series. It would have made so much sense. This storyline didn't happen because the McMahon family came out of nowhere and decided they were taking over the whole WWE management because general managers weren't doing their jobs correctly or something like that. And with them in charge, it meant that Paige was out of WWE television. That's what happened. And Alexa Bliss was still doing basically nothing. So Alexa against Paige as Raw GMs of their respective brands, to me, sounds like a fabulous idea. It is so unfortunate that this storyline couldn't develop and Alexa Bliss wasn't cleared to compete until the Royal Rumble, so at least she could have 2 or 3 months as general manager. It happened with AJ Lee in the past, so why couldn't they give Alexa Bliss that opportunity? Who knows? I mean, that for me is the biggest loss of Alexa Bliss's career while she was injured. Instead of being in the sidelines, being on screen, doing what she does best. Trash talking and being a heel. A heel general manager and Alexa Bliss sounds like a perfect match to me. But whatever, it didn't happen. For our fourth storyline, let's go way back to 1999. And that is Chyna becoming the WWE champion. Every time I talk about Chyna, I feel ludicrous because what she accomplished back then in an era was male dominated and all women were eye candy or managers was unbelievable. She was truly a star. And at some point in her career, Chyna became the #1 contender for the WWE or back then WWF Championship, defeating Triple H and Undertaker in a triple threat match. Now, I know she didn't really defeat them, it was with help, but that's besides the point. She was supposedly going to face Stone Cold Steve Austin at SummerSlam that year for the major title in the whole company. That was an amazing thing that I would have loved to see. We knew Chyna could go. Stone Cold was so popular, but so was Chyna, so it would be like a very interesting collision. Besides, it would also be a historic event because no women to this day have challenged for the WWE Championship. Sadly, Stone Cold didn't want to face a woman in a pay-per-view. Allegedly, he said that whether he win or lose that match, he would still look bad. And I mean, I kind of understand where he's coming from, but I still think this is sports entertainment. You're not wrestling like for real, but whatever. He wasn't satisfied with that, so management came up with this idea to tell Chyna that she will not get the opportunity because of her lack of wrestling skills. Can you believe that? WWE always did Chyna dirty, to be honest. She was so ahead of her time and it was still not enough to give her the WWE Championship opportunity. But it made no sense because they already made her the #1 contender, so they did have the intention to get the match going. But Stone Cold would refuse. Then later on an episode of Raw, Chyna would lose the #1 contendership to Mankind and he would go to face Stone Cold at SummerSlam. This was a screw job. Perhaps not win the title, but at least have a monumental and historic moment at SummerSlam, which is one of the 4 big pay-per-views. Whatever, I don't want to keep talking about this because this is the biggest missed opportunity in the women's division history. Chyna would have been a role model, even a bigger role model than she is right now. And the opportunity was taken away from her. Rest in peace, Chyna. We love you, girl. We really do. And to finish this video, let's go with the 5th cancer storyline of today, and that is a mixture between WWE and AEW. It is a cancer storyline from 2021, and it was Lita and Britt Baker's feud. Interesting, right? It was a bit unexpected. I never heard of it back in 2021, but I read many different sources saying that she was actually contacted by AEW to face Britt Baker at All Out, one of the biggest pay-per-views for them, if not the biggest. I'm not sure. I mean, I follow AEW, but not that religiously. And they wanted Lita, the legend, to be one of Britt's challengers. This is huge. All of the rumors or all the information about this contacting with AEW happened after Lita returned for the Royal Rumble at WWE, which is something a bit fishy if you ask me, because just when AEW wanted to bring Lita there, WWE finally remembered she's a legend, because they always remember Trish but ignore Lita, and gave her that small run where she competed in the Royal Rumble match, had a few interactions with Charlotte, and then challenged Becky Lynch at the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. So I think it was a way of WWE to block any type of interest from AEW or opportunity for her to go there. But that's not the reason why it was cancelled. Lita said that the 2 parts never agreed to anything. They weren't in probably good terms because maybe Lita wanted a little bit more of creative freedom or a different path for her run there, and AEW just had a specific thing for her, maybe just be a 1 match and leave. The details were not revealed, but what I know is that on paper, having Britt Baker, one of the brightest stars in women's wrestling last year, especially with her title run, she was extremely popular, great on the mic, facing a legendary woman like Lita, who have never really gotten the respect she deserved from the WWE company. I mean, that's just what I believe. I think would have been a banger, a complete banger. Lita's high-flying, daredevil mentality against Britt Baker's technical style and arrogant personality would have been very interesting to see. Unfortunately, well, there was no agreement, so the match never happened, but I'm sure that the door's still open. We know that Lita can still go. We have seen that in the match against Becky Lynch, so maybe in the future, who knows? We never know what the future holds, but what I know is that Lita and Britt Baker still sound like a banger to me, so AEW, give Lita a call, please. Alright, so this was Cancel Storylines Part 9. God, Part 9 already. I've been studying a lot, believe me. So I hope that you really enjoyed the video. As always, I want you to tell me in the comments what do you think about each of the cancelled storylines, which would have been the best to add at WWE or AEW, and which ones were okay just being scrapped. Thank you very much for the support as always. My name is Alexis, as you already know. Here is my Instagram. Hope that you like this video. If you have any other suggestions for cancelled storylines, whether it is WWE, AEW, or even Impact Wrestling, you can write them on the comments. Give me a like and subscribe to my channel if you haven't. That would help me a lot as well. And I will see you next time. Stay safe. Goodbye.